Professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor Dershowitz, I understand that your next book, you're writing another book, and is it going to be about Israel? Am I right? Can you tell us what it's going to be about?
I sent it to the publisher this morning.
Mazal tov.
It's a memoir. It's a memoir of 70 years of defending Israel. First starting in 1948 when I was 10 years old and went to Camp Masad, a Hebrew-speaking camp in the Pocono Mountains, where one of our counselors was Noam Chomsky. And it continues to the current day. It's 70 years, and how different and difficult it's been defending Israel over the 70-year period. How much more difficult it is today than it used to be.
That's a good segue to my next question, because I want to ask what your opinion is on the nation-state bill that last week became Israel's 14th basic law. When you say that you've been defending Israel for so many years, is Israel more difficult to defend since last week?
Yes, I think it was not a necessary law to pass. Look, everybody knows Israel is the nation state of the Jewish people. If you want to pass a law, a basic law, you just pass a law incorporating the brilliant Declaration of Independence of Israel, which talks about equal rights for all. I don't think there was a need to have basic law declaring what everybody knows. It only gives ammunition to the opposition. And people who think this will help in Israeli diaspora relations are wrong. If you want to help Israeli diaspora relations, there's one simple solution: abolish the chief rabbinate, get the rabbis out of politics, get the rabbis out of marriage, get the rabbis out of the law, get them out of deciding who is a Jew and who is a rabbi and who is a kosher rabbi. Let them stop attacking conservative, reform, and even modern Orthodox rabbis. Let there be equal prayer sections at the Kotel. That's the way you cement relationships with diaspora, not by having a law which is unnecessarily provocative. Look, I don't think anybody doubts that Israel is the nation state of the Jewish people. Of course, the criticism of it is hypocritical, coming from the Palestinians. They've declared Palestine to be an Islamic state governed by Sharia law, where no Jew can buy property or be a citizen. I mean, that's really racist. Or almost all the other Arab countries are officially Muslim states. But to suddenly single out Israel for criticism is wrong. But I didn't see any reason for enacting this law on Israel's 70th anniversary. I think it was a mistake.
Okay, and staying in our region, are you surprised that the Trump administration has not rolled out its peace plan yet?
Well, I've been involved with the Trump administration in consulting with them on the peace plan. I've had several meetings with Jason Greenblatt and Jared Kushner and with the president himself. And I know they're working very, very, very hard on it, and they want to get it right. And they want to make sure they roll it out in an absolutely proper way to put maximum pressure on the Palestinians to accept what would be a very good deal for them. It would give them what they've always claimed they wanted, statehood. But I think what they really have always wanted is there not to be a nation state for the Jewish people anywhere in the area.
Are you saying, sir, that the Trump peace plan definitely includes statehood, full statehood for the Palestinians? From what you know?
I haven't seen the plan, but I know I haven't seen certainly any final text of the plan. But it's certainly what Trump administration has talked about throughout is two states for two people, the UN resolution of 47, a two-state solution. That's, I think, what the administration has been talking about. So I just have to assume that it will create a state. Now, will it be a state that can be armed? Of course not. It has to be an armed, demilitarized state. It has to be a state where Israel has some control over borders that are vulnerable to ISIS or enemy attack. In-life compromises are necessary, but it will be a state, if there is a two-state solution, in which full sovereignty domestically will be accorded to the Palestinian people. How it deals with Gaza is yet another question. So
I'm afraid we lost. We still have him. We still have you. Sir, we lost you for a second, but you're back, and I'm glad we still have you. Because before we go, I want to ask you just one last question, and it's the same question that I asked you about 6 months ago in our first conversation, and I want to make sure you're going to give me the same answer. If Donald Trump asks you to join his legal team, if he calls you on your phone, says, Professor Dershowitz, please come on my team, what will your answer be?
Well, I'm not going to say whether he has called me or asked me, but I will say that I do not want to be part of his legal team any more than I want to be part of any particular network's team. I want to remain completely independent. I have turned down the opportunity to be an exclusive commentator on networks. I've turned down opportunities to represent people in this whole enfolding legal mess. I want to be independent. I don't want to be loyal to anybody but the Constitution.